Welcome back. As promised, let's get straight and to the management of DB Corp. We are currently joined by Mr. Agarwal, the promoter and director of the company. Remember, the past quarter was impacted owing to COVID-19. In the month of March especially, they have taken a sharp knock. But how are things panning out? Mr. Agarwal joins us. Hi, Mr. Agarwal. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, I understand that ad revenues, obviously in the month of April, they must have fallen to around 10 to around 15% of what you were doing same time last year. Now we are in June. Are you seeing signs of a bit of an uptake? And ad revenues are the largest part of your business. So if you could give us a sense out there, how much have they scaled up as a percentage of last year? And what's the trajectory going ahead? When does it reach the optimal levels?
Okay, so the whole problem started from the last week of the March when the lockdown was announced. And April was a total disaster because all the markets were shut, the advertising was down. Even our circulation went down for almost 55-60% for around 10 days' time. But after that, we started picking up. Today, we are at almost 80% of our level of circulation of last year. And advertising-wise, we are seeing an uptake in the month of June, almost 30% of our last year basis. So I think going forward, we are expecting that July, August should achieve 50%. And closer to Diwali, we should be at a normal level.
All right, normalcy during Diwali, as of June, you are at 30% of normal levels. Before we get talking about the consumer trends as to whether people are reading newspapers or subscription, if you could tell us, you said yesterday in the conference call that you expect about 100 to 120 crores worth savings in terms of costs. Where does that come from? Are you looking at culling people, cutting salaries, or what are the components of this cost savings?
So I must announce this, that we have not cut any salaries across the board, but we have shifted some percentage of salaries as a PLI linked to the company's EBITDA. And also the other cost cuttings are like rationalizing the bureaus across the country. We had earlier almost 400 plus bureaus in various districts, 12 states where we operate. And various, optimization we got into place. So all put together, and couple of newsprint optimization also we have done. Like we have reduced the size of the newsprint by 0.5 inches in some locations. All put together, we are expecting almost 110 crore saving, and this is going to stay with us.
Okay, that's interesting. Then 110 crores of savings, that would aid in terms of profitability at least. But safe to say that quarter one will be a washout. You'll be reporting a loss in quarter one. Do you see yourself returning back into the black in the second quarter? And also give us a sense in terms of printing prices. That's seen a sharp decline in the fourth quarter. So do you expect that trend to continue? Raw material costs?
No, the printing cost in the quarter in the April, May, June has gone down because the number of pages have reduced. And what you are referring is the printing assignment, what we used to do job works outside is for that. But going forward, if the number of pages increase, the printing cost will come back to the normal.
All right, then if you could tell us a little about, consumer trends now. Your subscription, I believe, is back to about 80%, but at the same time, we saw a big jump in your online readership as well, the app that is. How do you view this trend? Has that jump in readership also led to a jump in revenue for your digital platform?
So on digital platform, our focus is not the revenue, our focus is the reader experience. So if you go to our app, you will find no ad over there because we want to make a real amazing experience for a reader, and going forward, maybe in a couple of years' time, we can think of monetizing. Talking about the consumer behavior, I think what has happened in terms of readership, people are reading the newspaper in the morning. One difference fundamentally in the city where you live in, a city where we operate are different. See, Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, they are all vertical cities, while other cities in India are horizontal cities. So, for example, up in Bombay or in Delhi, you still have a problem of circulation because societies don't allow the vendors to come in. While in our markets, there are hardly any big societies. People live in individual houses mostly, or maybe a smaller 5-10 flat society. So circulation-wise, there is no problem here. But one trend what we have seen is that people are reading newspaper in the morning, and they are wanting to update themselves during the day of how many number of cases and deaths and all that. So they are going to the app to get the update during the day.
Okay, all right. Circulation at 80% of normal levels, that's pretty interesting. As you say that, in fact, your audience is different from maybe us here in Mumbai. So that's encouraging. But, just shifting focus away from the operational performance, promoter holding is at around 70% odd. But there is a large amount of pledge. If I'm not mistaken, around 40% is pledged. In FY21, can we see the promoter pledge being totally released or part of that being released?
Okay, let me give you the absolute number. The total pledge money was around 300 crores and the pledge went down to almost 20%. But in last 4-5 months, because of the rates coming down, the stock listed rates have come down. There's a reason the pledge has increased. Today we have an outstanding of almost 160 crores. Against that, 2 times the pledge is done, which is around 33%. And we are very hopeful that in a year's time we should be able to bring it down to zero.
All right, fair point. This is something we will keep an eye out on, especially given the decline that we've seen in your stock price. But final question then from my end, let's talk about your radio business. Radio, most of it is heard in cars during traffic. Now, whatever cars are there, perhaps there is very little traffic on the road as well. What are your prospects for the radio business from an ad revenue and listenership perspective? That is one. And the second one, the larger theme of podcasts taking over radio. What's the future there?
So as like the print or other medium, the radio has also seen a sharp decline in this quarter. But as now the people are moving out, the traffic is back on the roads, the radio's listenership is again going up. And we are hopeful that in the next quarter, radio, should see a quantum jump. And also for the future in radio, I think government is considering some kind of relief given on the license fee and auction fees and all that. If that happens, then I think radio will be in a good shape going forward.
All right, thanks a lot. So that was Mr. Girish Agarwal from DB Corp detailing their business. 2 data points that stood out. One, subscription is now back to 80% of what it was pre-COVID. And at the same time, we have ad revenues, which are back to around 30%. They expect normalcy by Diwali. We wish you good luck. And also the street will keep an eye out on the pledge in terms of promoter stake. With that, we slip into a short break. But as we do that,